50% of first 30 days of ad revenue will be donated to Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. Thank you to my new pledges, Ramon, Tim, and Bobby. Oh, see ya. Hello and welcome back to the channel. So in the last week, Australian singer, songwriter, voice actress, director Sia has pissed off the disabled community. But to be more specific, the autistic community, and to be even more specific there, the non-speaking, I believe that's the right term, autistic community. Last week, a trailer for Sia's new film that she wrote, directed, I believe she did it all, called Music, had been released all over Twitter, all over the internet, and it got picked up by the autistic community and the disabled community at large. Music is an upcoming American musical drama film directed by singer-songwriter Sia. The film's screenplay was co-written by Sia and children's book author Dallas Clayton and stars Kate Hudson, Maddie Ziegler, and Leslie Odom Jr. And what that particular bit about the movie won't tell you is that the main actor in this, the main character, is autistic. But is the actual actor themselves autistic? No. The actor that has been cast for this character is Maddie Ziegler, who apparently Sia cast for everything that she made, or that she's involved with, or whatever. I talked before on this channel about Cripping Up is what it's called. I have a whole series, Film Fridays, which I eventually will pick up again, that is all about watching various movies of disabled characters, primarily deaf characters, and I talk about the representation or lack thereof. And I made a video way back way in the past specifically talking about how deaf actors should be casted for deaf roles, and it's gonna be the same here. So when everybody was seeing this trailer on YouTube, on Twitter, naturally people had stuff to say. Basically it was said that Maddie's whole, what's the word I'm looking for? Just acting as this character is a mockery of autistic people. And people really wanted to know why there weren't autistic actors involved in this. And Sia came out on Twitter with various reasons, such as, like, there was a time crunch, which people said on Twitter that they offered to be a part of this even with the time crunch. You know what, let's just go over exactly what Sia was doing, because Sia, you f***ed up. By far, Sia's reaction to everything is probably some of the worst I've ever seen. It was worse than Kate Spiegel from Haunting of Hill House when she was doing Hush and things like that. Sia's reactions was way worse. Let's just read some of the tweets, shall we? Starting with the most recent one, because it's just put up on my timeline. Somebody asked why she didn't cast a disabled actor, which, to be more specific, you want to cast an actual autistic actor for this part. Sia says, this was to represent a low-functioning gal with a magical imagination, intuition. I feel like I cast the right person. Super great for the type I'm trying to represent. She was delicate and sensitive and cautious. Her peers on the spectrum loved her. I can't comment on how her peers on set reacted to this sort of thing, but when Sia says, I feel like I cast the right person, somebody told me, because I asked, don't you hire Maddie for pretty much everything that you do anyway, so did you really cast the right person when you just put Maddie in everything? She says she makes roles for her to keep to herself. Yep, just more excuses for why she filled the role of a non-verbal autistic person with the exact same apparently NT, does that mean neurotypical? Girl that she always cast in everything. She was always gonna cast Maddie. The story didn't have squat to do with Sia's choice of actress. Maddie literally went from one abusive mentor to another. This one just showers her with love constantly and while controlling her. She ain't even want to do it, but Sia hit her with a, I know what's best for you. I'll protect you from hate. Trust me. I don't know what Maddie's reaction to all of this is, so I'm not gonna comment on that, but that's just some of the responses that I've seen so far. Now, this in particular seems like a more tame response. It's a response where we're all gonna go, but it looks like Disneyland compared to some of the other stuff that's been said. Someone asked Sia if she did any research while writing this film. From what I remember, I think that this character is supposed to be based on an actual friend of Sia's, but they want to know if she did any more research, and Sia replies, duh, I spent 3 years researching. I think that's why I'm so bummed. He spent 3 years researching but didn't realize that Autism Speaks, who is apparently, I don't want to say officially part of this film, but apparently they came in later as consulting or something, and then she had no idea that Autism Speaks was this big controversial group that's actually very anti-autism because of what they do and how they act. And now there's some other discussion about how Autism Speaks has tried to separate themselves from it and said that they weren't involved. I'm not really sure which is what, but this is what has been happening in the last week. And then that's where this tweet comes in. Autism Speaks came on board long after the film was finished 4 years, and that I had no idea it was such a polarizing group. I don't think it takes that long of a Google search to, when you're researching autism, to know that, or at least to see Autism Speaks pop up in all the articles from autistic people that talk about how Autism Speaks is, quite frankly, a load of crap. Now, keep in mind, this whole discourse happened last week, but in April, see, I love you, but Autism Speaks is a horrible, horrible thing that does not show or represent kindness for autistic people like me. They are known to fearmonger and spread false, harmful information and stigma. Please don't give them a voice. And of course, Sia replies with, oh, which is fine. There is nothing wrong with not knowing. I want to make this very clear. There is nothing wrong with not knowing that something was bad before. Nobody knows everything. I didn't know about Autism Speaks until a couple years ago. There's nothing wrong with that, but how you react to that matters. And we're April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 7 months. Where did March go? We're 7 months after this specific tweet, and now she's saying I had no idea that this group was bad, even though she knew about it in April. But now you could still say something like, oh, by the way, Autism Speaks was involved in this in this sort of way, but I'm not involved with these people anymore. Oh, by the way, here's a whole chart about which autism organizations are good and which are bad, if you want to take a look at those. One tweet that Sia wrote was, grrr, why don't you watch my film before you judge it? Fury. The movie trailer tells us what we need to know. You make the movie trailer so that we can make a decision on whether or not we want to watch it. You're supposed to entice us. You're supposed to make us want to watch the film with the movie trailer. And if the movie trailer tells us everything that we need to know, that we don't want to watch it, that this isn't going to be representative properly of autistic people, of non-speaking autistic people specifically. And then, of course, Francesca Ramsey, my dear friend, swoops right in and says, the purpose of a movie trailer is to spark interest in the film, thus asking people to judge, aka decide if they want to see the film. Obvious, you put a lot of work into this project and are incredibly talented, but you missed the mark here. Francesca gets it. And Francesca is in the TV industry, the movie industry, so she knows what she's talking about here. I agree. I never refer to music as disabled. What does that even mean? Special abilities is whatever. Oh, she's talking about the character. The character's name is music, but because she didn't capitalize it, it's confusing. I agree. I never refer to music as disabled. Special abilities is what I've always said. And casting someone at her level of functioning was cruel, not kind. So I made the executive decision that we would do our best to lovingly represent the community. First of all, special abilities is some cutesy euphemism that I feel like I made a whole video of this. I have. Disabled is not a bad word. It just say it. Differently abled, special abilities, all this other stuff. It's all cutesy trying to dance around the problem. Disabled is not a bad word, okay? It's not. And also, when she's talking about how casting somebody at her level would be, also, I think terms like high functioning and low functioning are like a no-no, but just going off what she's writing in this tweet, when she's saying casting somebody that is actually like the character, that would be cruel, but the autistic folks that are tweeting at you are saying the opposite, including the ones that offer to be a part of it.
There are so many reasons why this is a completely faulty, invalid excuse. Let's talk about them. Number one, this mysterious autistic girl never actually existed. There are receipts dating 5 years back where Maddie already had the part. If this autistic girl did actually exist, that opens up a whole new can of issues. Number one, there is more than one autistic actress in the world. If one of them wasn't working, find another one. You can't just try one autistic actress and be like, yeah, nah, she wasn't working out. We're gonna go with a neurotypical. It's okay though, I've done my part. Number two, and this is the real issue, if the environment wasn't working for the autistic actor, change the bloody environment. You cannot make a film about disability inclusion but refuse to include disabled actors in your filming. The set being too stressful for a disabled actor is not a valid excuse when you're making a film about disabled people. I don't care what you say, there isn't a single reason to exclude disabled people from a disabled film unless your intentions are poor. before. All we've been saying for years is include us, not silence our voices and use us for entertainment instead.
Several autistic actors, myself included, responded to these tweets. We all said we could have acted in it on short notice. These excuses are just that, excuses. The fact of the matter is zero effort was made to include anyone who is actually autistic. Hashtag nothing about us without us. See your response. You have no idea because you weren't there and haven't seen the movie. If you might have casted anybody but Maddie, I'd maybe believe that, but it's a mighty shame that someone with such a colossal platform is using it to exclude disabled and neurodiverse actors from their own narratives. I've been a long-time fan of your work, so this is really disappointing. I cast 13 neuroatypical people, 3 trans folk, and not as prostitutes or drug addicts, but as doctors, nurses, and singers. Okay, I mean that's good, but okay. Sad nobody's even seen the dang movie. My heart has always been in the right place. I think there are people who believe that Sia's heart was in the right place. She wanted to try to make something for autistic people and, you know, get some sort of representation out there. But there's a thing called intent versus impact. Your intention may be good, but your impact screwed it up. Therefore, that's a problem and it's something that you should address. Francesca always talks about this. You might have accidentally stepped on somebody's toe and they're in a lot of pain. Maybe you made them bleed, something. I don't know. Your intent was not to actually step on them and you feel very bad, but that doesn't negate the fact that they're in lots of pain and maybe they might have to go to the hospital. Their feelings are valid. Intent versus impact. Your heart's in the right place, but it messed up. And right now, you reacting to all this criticism is the way that you're reacting to this criticism anyway is just tells us something different. There's also one thing that I want to mention that's actually pretty important. Some people were bringing this up. Sia is disabled herself. She has EDS. It is a chronic illness. So she really wanted to make a movie that wouldn't really hurt anyone. Hopefully, she can make a video about EDS. She knows what it's like to have EDS, to have a chronic illness. But she doesn't know anything really about autism from an actual personal perspective because she's not autistic and, you know, just has actually no experience with that. You having a best friend who's autistic, having a best friend who is deaf, blind, etc., etc., you get some information, you see things, but you don't actually really know anything. Of course, the question is, if she were to make a video or a movie about a character having EDS, would she still probably cast Maddie? Probably. And then there's one tweet in particular that really set off a lot of people. It's probably one of the worst things that she's probably said so far. It's actually a response to Helen, whose tweet I read previously. And to see her response, maybe you're just a bad actor. If there's anything you probably shouldn't say to a person of the community who you're trying to represent in a film and trying to impress, probably shouldn't say that. It would have been one thing to say something along the lines of, we auditioned several actors and unfortunately we didn't feel like these actual autistic actors were fit, so we went with these abled actors. Would that fly with a lot of people? No, because you're still cripping someone up. Would it have probably been better, at least I think so, than maybe you're just a bad actor to someone straight up? Yeah, because that's saying something in those words is probably one of the most respectful things that you could say. And of course, with all of this now, Sia's stans, her fans are harassing actually autistic people, and it's just becoming this whole harassment campaign. And it even brought in actors like Star Trek's William Shatner, who is also ableist himself, and he talks about autism from time. I'm not really completely familiar with this guy because I don't watch Star Trek, but I did see a tweet that he made. It says something along the lines of, wow, you think autism is a disability? How dare you? Like, you know, it had that sort of attitude. Now, William's stans are, you know, hopping in, and it's just this whole harassment campaign. Like, yikes. So it's funny, in a not actually funny way, to see how Sia is reacting when you have actors like Anne Hathaway, who, if you don't know, was recently in the film called The Witches, something like that, and she plays someone with disfigurement, I think, in her face, but also in her hands. I forget what the actual term is called, but basically she has like 3 very long fingers. It's like a limb difference, right? And I think she has like lines, like scars on here. And you know how they're seems to be this, what's the word I'm looking for, stigma or stereotype, something like that, where disabled people in films, people with limb differences, facial scarring, facial differences, they tend to play the villains, and I'm guessing she was the sort of villain in this film. People were really worried. The disabled community was talking about how it just felt so long that Anne was playing this character, and the movie was making it seem that disabled people with limb differences would be seen as scary, and that people like children would be afraid of children who had these limb differences. And you know what Anne Hathaway did? Did she tell people that they were bad actors? Did she tell people to suck it up and get over it? No! Anne Hathaway, being the graceful person that she is, actually said, "I have recently learned that many people with limb differences, especially children, are in pain because of the portrayal of the Grand High Witch in The Witches. Let me begin by saying I do my best to be sensitive to the feelings and experiences of others, not out of some scrambling PC fear, but because not hurting others seems like a basic level of decency we should all be striving for. As someone who really believes in inclusivity and really detests cruelty, I owe you all an apology for the pain caused. I am sorry. I did not connect the limb difference with the GHW when the look of the character was brought to me. If I had, I assure you this never would have happened. I particularly want to say I'm sorry to kids with limb differences. Now that I know better, I promise I'll do better. And I owe a special apology to everyone who loves you as fiercely as I love my own kids. I'm sorry I let your family down." So yeah, I think you need to learn a thing or two from Anne. Just saying. It seems like so many times, every single time, that there is a movie where there's deaf people, other disabled people, it's always able people taking the roles, and everybody's like, it's just acting. Hearing people will never know what it's like to be deaf, and able people will not know what it's like to be deaf, and with other disabilities, you know, it's just, I just saw a trailer with Madeline Petch, I don't know how to say her last name, with Madeline from Riverdale, and she's playing a character who is blind, and well, I can't talk about if that's right or not. You'll have to ask James Rath. I don't even know if he's seen it. It's not only that, but disabled people don't even get the chance to audition. Everybody's like, well, why aren't disabled people auditioning? Half the time, most of the time even, actually auditioning is not even accessible. Wheelchair users, are even going to be able to get in here? They're going to be interpreters. It's just, a lot of people still be like, well, we can't have these actual disabled people on set because of money. We have to pay for accommodations and things like that. You want us to audition and things like that. How are we even able to do that when Hollywood won't even let us? And instead, they just want to hire the best actor. Okay, with that being said, a new movie on Hulu called Run with Sarah Paulson and a newcomer actor, I believe, who is an actual wheelchair user, has just come out, and I really want to see it and potentially talk about it for an episode of Film Fridays. So that's what I'm going to be up to after I film this video. Stay tuned for that. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that within the next week or two. Long story short, stop cripping up all the time and let disabled people have a chance. I feel like it would be just a little less bad if disabled people actually had a chance to even audition for these roles, but we don't even get the chance to do that, and that's why there's always so much anger when things like this keep popping up. In the description box below, I will have links to organizations that are in regards to autism, especially some that I will be donating some ad revenue from this video to. Did that English make sense? I will also be including links of some discourse, you know, there's Twitter threads and articles and stuff like that. I'll leave them down below. I highly recommend that you sit and learn from the actually autistic community, because this is very important. Don't just brush it off as it's just acting or this is silly or everybody's getting up in arms with culture, raging culture or whatever. Stop it. Sit down and listen. Just listen. Be like Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway is great. We all want to be her. So many people want to be her. She's amazing. Be like Anne Hathaway. Be sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, share this video, and that will help the channel grow and also get people more aware of things like this. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you hopefully don't miss out on any future videos, and I will see you later.